Hi, thanks so much for joining me. So today I'm doing a little series of all of our favorite middle grade books, and I'm breaking them up into, I think, 3 videos. So the first video is fantasy, which is this video, and then the second video is going to be realistic fiction and kind of like animal books, which, since it's like animals that talk, it's not totally realistic fiction, but I'm just going to go ahead and put that, in that category because it's more based kind of on, real life, life things. And then the third category is going to be like children's classics. And then we also have like some mystery books that I don't know if we have enough to make a 4th video, but I might kind of put those in the second video or the third. But yeah, so welcome to the first part of the series. I hope you enjoy it. So my daughter is in 4th grade. She's homeschooled. And in case you're new to my channel, if you're not, thanks so much for coming back and joining me. But so my daughter's in homeschool. She just turned 10, and so she's been reading the books I'm going to show you guys throughout homeschool. So some of them are newer books that she read, and some of them are books that she read in the past, but these are like her favorite of just that her whole life, like fantasy. And I'm not a big fantasy reader. I do like fantasy. I really love like fantasy movies. And it's just for some reason I'm just drawn to realistic fiction. So realistic fiction is going to be kind of like my thing for the second video. But yeah, so let me go ahead and get started. First book I have to show you guys is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And it's the first book, the prelude to the Lord of the Rings series. She's really excited to read the rest of the series. This was a slow start for her. She actually was reluctant to start it. I don't know why. Probably just because it's an older book and she's drawn to a little bit more like contemporary, like newer fiction and fantasy and things like that. So this was actually, so for our reading, she has what I call like free reading in the morning before homeschool. She reads whatever she wants, nonfiction, fiction, mostly fantasy. And then, I have like homeschool books I pick at the beginning of the year. And she's been helping me pick those books a little bit more as she gets older. And this book was one of her assigned reads that she has in her timed reading, which is like a 35-minute reading period after her whole day of homeschool is over. And it's working really great for us because I'm able to, encourage her and introduce her to lots of new authors and works that she would never, probably pick up on her own. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it's going. And this is about a hobbit, and his journeys and adventures and quests, and a dragon, and Gandalf the wizard, and I'm sure a lot of people have read it. I personally haven't. It might be something I might read in the future, but it's definitely one of her favorites. And then Dealing with Dragons is another book series from the Enchanted Forest Chronicles by Patricia C. Reed, I think. So we have the whole set of these, and she finished this series. Almost all the series I'm showing you guys, she's either finished or she's working on finishing them at the library, and she really likes them. So this is, of course, about a dragon and a princess, very much fantasy. I'm sorry if I repeated myself, but if not, it's 208 pages, and she really liked it. And my husband also read this series when he was like maybe in middle school or something like that, and he also encouraged her to read this. And then the third book is The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. And it's about these twins, and they get a fairy tale book, and they have this land of stories where fairy tales are real. So it's very much about incorporating these like classic fairy tales with, this modern story. And it has, 438 pages. And it has a cute little map at the beginning. Another one of her favorites is Spirit Animals, Book 1, Wild Born, Brandon Mole. Spirit Animals has quite a few options of different series, like within the Spirit Animals, like they have like different spirit animal types of books. This is like the original ones. Is it? I believe there's like 3 different series, I believe. This one. So Wildborn is So this book is actually probably a younger middle grade. This is actually also 200-ish page. Well, this one's like 200 pages. The font looks a little larger. And, you know, it's like choose your spirit animal. Let's see. So there's like 4 children in this story. And they each see a flash of light, and then the animals emerge. A wolf, a leopard, a panda, and a falcon. Oh, my cat's joining. Willow is his name. Now that each of the children has summoned a beast from legend. Now their fate is set. So yeah, so she really likes that one. And so another book that's one of her favorites is Amara and Hamza. And this is the author, Samira, Ahmed is her last name. Ahmed. The War to Save the Worlds. I believe this is almost every single middle grade's a series. And we're always working on completing series, adding to series, deciding if we're gonna finish the series from the library or buying it. And so this one is a newer one. And this one is about 320 something pages. So the protagonist is a 12-year-old girl. That's Amara, and then her little brother is Hamza. And let's see. They're attending an exhibit on medieval Islamic astronomy. The defunct box springs to life, sets off a series of events that could shatter their world literally. Suddenly the day turns to night. Everyone around them falls under a spell. A chunk of the moon breaks off, hurtling towards them at lightning speed, and they come face to face with 2 otherworldly creatures. That sounds very adventurous, and yeah, she really loved it. And then this is a Serpent Secret. And I'm just going to spell this name. I'm probably going to mess it up. Sayantani Dasgupta. And so this is another one of her favorites. And this one is, let's see, 338 pages. Has some chapter beginning illustrations. Some of them, okay. Yeah, so this one is, again, a 12-year-old, middle grade. She's a 6th grader living in New Jersey until her parents mysteriously vanish. And a drooling Rakosh demon slams through her kitchen, determined to eat her alive. That sounds kind of scary. Turns out there might be some truth to her parents' fantastical stories, like how she's a real Indian princess and how she comes from a secret place not of this world. So, yeah, like I said, and I don't pre-read. If I would pre-read books, there'd be no way. I just trust my daughter. Like, I tell her, like, if a book is too crazy out there, scary, obviously don't read it. If you think it's gonna like give you nightmares, freak you out. I'll read the synopsis of books, but because she reads so quickly, there's no way I could keep up. Like, she reads double, if not triple, what I read in a year for sure, and every month. Like, I might finish, yeah, so I can't, there's no way I could pre-read her book. So it's a lot of these books I'm just like, I'm just like, yeah, I just kind of get a lot of these books from book lists, from watching, different like YouTube videos, watching teachers recommend books that their classes are reading, online book lists. I give her ideas, but she helps me pick out her books at this point. But yeah, I pick out some of them. But yeah, this is Curse of the Night Witch by Alex Astor. And she really likes this book. Another 12-year-old, of course, because we're dealing with middle grade protagonist. 12-year-old Tor Luna was born to be the future leader of his village, but he hates his leadership emblem and is determined to choose a new path for himself. He wakes up, discover a new marking on his skin, the symbol of a curse that has shortened his lifeline, giving him 1 week before an untimely death. Wow, that's so... I'm assuming this one, like, he didn't die in the end. That would be not good. The only way to break the curse is to find the notorious Night Witch, who most believe is a legend. And that's also the thing about middle grade. Like, most middle grade has, like, a happy ending, and not that it needs to be, but for her, since she's 10, obviously, like, I wouldn't let her read, like, a murder mystery or something like that. But if she wants to read most adult books, like, I'll let her. or YA, as long as I don't think it's like really inappropriate, but I'm not too conservative about what she reads, as long as she's reading. But yeah, this one sounds really interesting. Ancient stories, guide him and his two friends. So yeah, she really liked that one. Sorry. Okay, this one she really, really loved. This was a recent reread for her. This is Escape from Atlantis by Kate O'Hearn, author of the Pegasus series. She likes the Pegasus series too. We didn't include it in this video, but that's how we found out about this book, because she read Pegasus first, and then we found this series. And yeah, so this one is, let's see, about 420 pages. And the last way that Riley wanted to attend spring break was studying whales on the family's sailboat in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle, with her dad, aunt, and annoying cousin Alfie for company. She is bored staring at the waves as she's starting to see mermaids between them. Sorry, so bored. But when their boat is capsized during a sudden storm, she finds more excitement than she bargained for, as she and Alfie are washed ashore with neither of their parents in sight. Where they've been shipwrecked is not a deserted island, though. Atlantis is a place beyond imagination. So, also sounds like very much like adventure and the mystery of Atlantis, the forbidden zone, the clock is ticking. Yeah. Oh yeah, so here's a lot of the books Kate O'Hearn wrote. So this next one is really one of her, she really loves this series. This is Aragon by Christopher Poloni. So I want to say this is maybe the only YA, or one or two. I believe that this is YA. I just put, of course, in the middle grade, because I don't have really a lot of YA books to make a separate video on them, because she reads mostly middle grade, but I do believe that this is YA. Yeah, he's 15, the protagonist. So yeah, it's and she also said that Aragon is actually, like, the writing is a little bit more dense and is a little bit more advanced. She likes that. And it's a little bit, because it is YA, I guess. Well, you never know, because I've read YA and I've read middle grade, and I think it just depends on the writer, because I've read some very sophisticated middle grade that I'm like, wow, this could have been written for adults. But for her, she actually compared this a little bit to the writing in The Hobbit, as far as comparatively speaking to the rest of the books. But she really loves the writing, and she's on book 3, I believe, right now of this series. So Aragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest. He thinks it is the lucky discovery of a poor farm boy. Perhaps it will buy his family meat for the winter. But when the stone brings a dragon hatchling, Aragon soon realizes he has stumbled upon a legacy nearly as old as the empire itself. Yeah, so it just sounds really interesting, and she really loves it. Okay, and then so we have Artemis Fowl is next by Ian Colfer. And this is book 1. I believe she's on 3 or 4, I think, at this point. Or yeah. So all of these, she's like really actively finishing reading. That's what made her favorites. The books that she's like, oh, I really want to finish, this series. We have a lot of books that are middle grade series that she just read the first one and then didn't like the second, and then, or she just didn't like it at all. But yeah, so this is Artemis Fowl, and this one is Artemis Fowl, 12 years old, is a millionaire genius and above all criminal mastermind. Even Artemis doesn't know what he's taken on when he kidnaps a fairy. And it says these are not fairies of bedtime stories. These fairies are armed and dangerous. I asked her about this book too. I was like, is it too violent just based on that? And she said no. Yeah. So this one has, let's see. Oh, okay. That one's for the synopsis, I guess, for the next. This one has 270 pages, and she's actually decoding this stuff right now. They have the Gnomish alphabet, and so after she finished reading this book, now she's decoding them, because she didn't do it from the beginning, so now she's doing it. I actually made a copy on our printer for her of the the little code. We made a copy of this, and so now she's decoding them. But yeah, she really likes that. And then the next one, this is one of her. Now we didn't really put these in order, but she did save her favorites for last at the bottom of the stack. So now I'm really getting into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the last 6 are like her severe, like big time favorites, like the ones that she was like really, really excited for me to order, finish, etc. So this one is the 7 Wonders series, The Colossus Rises by Peter Lerangis. Lerangis? Okay. So this is book 1. She read all of them. We were thinking there'd be 7, but I believe there's like 5 or 6, and she's finished it. And I don't think he came out with another one, but maybe I'm wrong, but because it's called the 7 Wonders. But yeah, so this one, Jack McKinley is an ordinary kid with an extraordinary problem. In 6 months, Jack is going to die. So this one also is sounds kind of like somber, very dramatic. After he collapses in the middle of a street, he's whisked off to a strange hospital in a strange place. So, fancy. There are armed guards and weird kids and fantastic creatures, not to mention no parents, no phones, no possibility of escape. The place is run by an old professor who tells Jack that what's killing him is a genetic trait inherited from the prince of a long-lost civilization. It's destroying him by making him too strong too fast. He'll need to stay strong, though, because it's up to him to save the world. So, yeah, very dramatic, and she really liked it. And I don't know if it's helpful to you guys for me to say the page number. I don't know why. Sometimes when I do book videos, I say the page number. Sometimes I don't. This one I started doing it. I don't know. For me, I don't know. So, but just in case, I'm going to continue. This one has 348 pages. And yeah, so she really liked it. And she read all of them. She was very much eager to read all of them, and she did. And this is, of course, an older modern classic, if you want to call it that. But this is one of the first middle grade books. I don't know if this is middle grade or YA. I guess you have to go by the age of the protagonist. How old is Harry in the beginning? I had a college professor that when I first got to college, it was like my beginning English course. Harry Potter was what we read in college. Adults, I read middle grade, so I can understand why. So I actually read Harry Potter. It was actually, like I said, part of my, it was like modern or contemporary fiction in college. But I read it so long ago that I honestly don't remember that much about it. But of course, my daughter has read the whole series twice, and she loves it. And okay, so I don't know, like I said, I don't remember, because like I said, it's been so long since I read it. I know Harry, I don't remember, but it's okay. Most of you guys probably don't even care, but I was trying to figure out if it was middle grade or YA. I guess I could have looked it up, but I didn't think about it. But I'm not going to go into it. I'm sure most people are familiar with it. If not, it's just, it's about magic. And of course, Harry Potter is the main protagonist, and it has Hogwarts school that he attends, and witchcraft and wizardry and all that stuff. And it was really the first fantasy series that she read beginning to end. She was very excited about it. And these books, I didn't bring them out, but the covers all match, and they create a giant picture image. So one time she was in between books. I think she read I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 books, and then we took her to a used bookstore, and she really wanted to read the next book. So I was like, okay, here's the Harry Potter book. But it was a different version, the cover. And I didn't realize at the time, because I didn't really research or anything. I didn't realize at the time that the covers made a giant picture, image. And she was very because my husband and I just grabbed it off the shelf, and we were like, hey, you were looking for the third Harry Potter, here it is. And I think she was 6 or at the time, because she read this in first grade, and something like that. And she was just kind of upset. She didn't want to tell us she didn't want the book, but you could tell she was upset. And I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, I don't want that I don't want that version. It doesn't match. And I was like, well, okay, it's not, I didn't think it was a big deal. And then she knew. So she knew that the books all matched. So I was like, okay, like I get it now. We put it back and I had to just order it like on Amazon because and now I see why. I'm going to show you guys. Maybe I'll insert a picture. And then another one of her new favorites is Wings of Fire series. So I think it's Tui T. Sutherland, and this is Wings of Fire, the Dragonet Prophecy, and this is book 1. She loves this series. I didn't realize how many of these they had in it. There's a lot, and so I was like, that's a lot. Like we don't have a lot of bookshelves and a lot of space, and I was like, I think we bought her like the first 4, 5, or 6. I forgot how many, at least 4. And I looked at and saw how many there were, and I was like, we're just going to continue these from the library unless, I was like, unless you really, 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 really want to collect them. Because I was like, that's like a lot of books. That's a big investment on top of everything she's constantly reading. If she only liked this series or whatever, I would buy it. I'd be like, okay, she's a picky reader. I'm going to do it. But she just has such a wide fantasy. So, yeah. So, we didn't buy the whole series, but we do have a few. And we're continuing them from the library. And she's reading them as soon as I can get them from the library. So, she's still working on completing the series. And so, I probably don't really need to describe it that much. It's like Clay has lived his whole life under the mountain. The mud-winged dragonet knows the wars raging between the dragon tribes and the world outside. A war that he and 4 other dragonets are destined to end. According to the mysterious prophecy they've been taught, the 5 chosen dragonets were stolen from their homes while they were still in their eggs and hidden away for years, all to fulfill the prophecy. So yeah, she really loves this, and she's continuing it. And now I'm getting down to her favorite, the bottom 3 that she really loves. So this is Aru Shah and the End of Time. Roshani, Roshanic. Last name is Chokshi. Okay, so this is also a series. I think this is a newer series, so I think we have another one. Okay. So this one, another middle grade, and this is a newer one, and it has 340-ish pages. Sorry if I didn't say some of the pages for the other ones. I'm kind of rambling. I just wanted to go back and say, if I didn't say this one, The Wings of Fire has almost 300 pages, and then Harry Potter. I'm not sure where I got off, you guys. I apologize. This one has a little bit over 300 pages. Okay. And then, and then Aru Shah, if I didn't already say it, because I feel crazy right now. I'm saying so many numbers, I keep forgetting what I said. It's like 350 pages. And so, Aru Shah has a tendency to stretch the truth in order to fit in at her private middle school. While her classmates are jetting off to exotic vacations, she'll be spending her autumn break in the Museum of Ancient Indian Art and Culture that her mom curates. Is it any wonder Aru makes up stories about being royalty, traveling to Paris, and having a chauffeur? So sounds pretty interesting, and she really likes this. So yeah. Now her one of her very, very favorites is the Unwanteds series, and this is by Lisa McMahon. She likes pretty much almost everything she's read by Lisa McMahon. Let's see. Lisa McMahon. Who else? Oh, yeah. Kate O'Hearn. And, those are like 2 of her favorite authors, where almost everything they write so far. Some of the authors are newer, so she hasn't read everything by them, but she really loves Lisa McMahon. And this is about 360 pages, and it is Of course, it says combining elements of Harry Potter and the Hunger Games. Fantasy readers will be drawn to this plot. Don't expect this to stay long on your library shelf. So that's one of the little snippets. I thought I'd share it because I just mentioned Harry Potter. Every year in Quill, 13-year-olds are sorted into categories. The strong, intelligent Wanteds go to university, and the artistic Unwanteds are sent to their graves. This is another one. It's like very dramatic at first, it sounds. On the day of Purge, identical twins, Alex and Aaron Stowe, await their fate. While Aaron is hopeful to becoming a wanted, Alex knows his chances are slim. He's been caught drawing with a stick in the dirt, and in stark gray land of Quill, being creative is a death sentence. So yeah, it sounds very dramatic about being separated into these two groups. Sounds really interesting. So they have the Unwanteds, which is this one that we've completed them. I think she's completed them. Yeah. And then there's the Unwanteds quest. So I don't include these in the this video for her. She didn't include them because we don't own them, but she's reading the Unwanteds quest from the library right now, and she's loving those too. So she likes both. But that was the only one that we own. And so now I'm getting down to her very number one favorite. She made it very clear, and I knew this. Her very number one middle grade series is Keeper of the Lost Cities. So this is by Sharon Messenger. She literally just came out with her newest book in, I think, 2022, and I pre-ordered it because I wanted it to be a Christmas gift, I believe. Was it a Christmas or birthday gift? And she already finished it, of course, because she was really anticipating. I think she writes one book a year. So yeah, we own them all because I knew she loved them so much. I was like, I'm just gonna buy them. And some of them are mismatched. Like we have a couple I think we have like a hardcover. We have a couple hardcovers and we have paperbacks, but that's okay. I mean, obviously aesthetically it looks, better to be like in the same, but that's okay with me because I shop at used bookstores a lot, and if I find a book she wants, I just buy it. But this is okay. This is about a 12-year-old named Sophie. She has a secret. She's a telepath and has a unique ability to hear the thoughts of everyone around her, something that she's never known how to explain. And has made her an outcast, even in her own family. But everything changes the day she meets Fitz, a mysterious boy who appears out of nowhere and reads minds. So she's forced to leave everything behind and start a new life in a place that is vastly different from her own. So this book, sorry if I am repeating myself, I feel crazy today. I'm just keep forgetting, but this is like 480-ish pages. And yeah, so this is her number one book. It kicked Harry Potter. This and the Unwanteds, of course, like I said, Wings of Fire, the Urusha. But for like 2 or 3 years, Harry Potter was her favorite series. And then starting like maybe in 3rd grade, all these books kicked her Harry Potter. Not that she still doesn't love it, of course. But yeah, so that's all for our fantasy. And thanks so much, you guys, for watching, subscribing, and liking. I really appreciate you guys.